All right. Hello, hello. I am live, I think. Well, I hope. All right. I'm just closing all my tabs. If anybody's watching, closing all my tabs. And that is why, because I have something else on streamed. All right. So I'm gonna wait as other people come in. If you're watching this, feel free to introduce yourself on the chat. I'm going to have bubble tea. I clearly have had a lot of it already. And then we're going to talk a little bit about all of this. It's Cole! Cole's here! Thank you for joining, Cole. If y'all haven't gotten on Null and Void yet, you need to. Just FYI. All right. So let's see. I have for folks who are still joining. Introduce yourself in the chat. Don't be shy. I have literally nothing planned for this because it has been a time, my friends. It has been a time. So as we get comfy and cozy, and depending on your time zone, if you are just getting off of work, or you're just waking up, or you are going to sleep, I don't know what your plans are for this lovely Friday, but I am going to be here as your host, as your ADHD host that will just be running my mouth down memory lane. So yes, introduce yourself. I am going to very quickly post that we are live on Twitter, and if y'all want to also encourage other people to get on and let's just fucking just talk about what has happened in the last 3 years, because my dudes, my friends, my girls, gays, and theys, it has been 3 years of doing a story, and I have some things to say, things to talk about before we officially close out. But yeah, so give me a hot second. Talks amongst yourselves in the chat as I post on Twitter and other socials that we are live. Alive and thriving. And honestly, it's been I'm really glad we are alive. I'll probably also talk a little bit about especially this past season, and kind of the process that got into finishing this whole season 2, because it has been it is quite interesting to finish a story in the middle of a pandemic. And there's definitely been stuff in my own life right now that has been has distracted me from engaging more like this with the listeners. But at the same time, I'm really, really grateful for people who have been listening, even if I've not, marketed it like, the friggin' capitalist society that we need to do to market our stuff. All right. I'm tweeting. We are live. All right. Hi, TH. Hello. And Kareem. Kareem's here. So we have some cool people in the room. Again, as you come in, introduce yourself. I should probably also add that in the comments. ADHD again. It's gonna be. I'm gonna try to do this as clearly as possible and be as entertaining as possible as we go through This will probably be about an hour broadcast, more or less, depending on, things. Let's see. All right. Cool. So I'm also going to, of course, respond to all sorts of things in the chat. I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel. There's like 5 people watching right now. I'm not sure how many more people will get on the chat as we go in to this. We might get to a point where I might just open up a Google chat, like a Google Meet or something, and we can just talk all together. I wasn't sure. This was literally a last-minute decision, and I'll talk a little bit about why, and kind of like where I've been in the last, especially a few months, the last year. Behind the scenes, obviously creating the final season. But I do want to kind of engage with people who want to chat, who want to talk about this story, and having anything go over like 3 years. It is a significant feat. A significant feat to stick with and listen through 41 episodes. Almost that's a big deal. So I really appreciate you guys sticking around and chatting chatting with me about all of this. Obviously there's also going to be an opportunity to chat with me 2 more times this weekend, and the live stream live listening party tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. Get your tickets there. It's in the KalilaStormfire.com/finale week. It'll be fun. It has captions, all that fun stuff. So, and I also have office hours. Again, if you go onto the Kalila Stormfire website, you can grab a 15-minute slot, and we can talk about anything you want. Really, it's just office hours. Like you can talk about. You can talk about the show, especially if you want to talk about the spoilers and you want to talk about how I've ended Kalila, or if you have a podcast and you want to kind of just pick my brain on stuff. This medium is such an interesting one, and I'm really excited to see it grow. All right, so let's get to the chat part. So I saw TH mention you stumbled across this podcast 2 weeks ago. You just finished. You've caught up yesterday. Thank you so much for rushing through all those episodes. I can only imagine, as someone who tried to binge listen just today to catch myself up with what I've done over the last couple of years. I only managed to finish the first 2 seasons. So yeah, that's a lot. Those are a lot of hours of listening. So thank you for listening, and thank you for kind of joining in. Definitely not too late. I'm glad that you're participating in this discussion too. So yeah, I'm going to, I'll probably sit this little event for, we'll do 20 minutes. And if it's just still the 5, 6 of us, I'm going to move us over to a Google Meet. If everyone's comfortable with that, please put in the chat. If you're like, no, if we can just stay on the stream, that'd be best. Just let me know. This evening is open, except for the fact that I have to upload the final episode onto Libsyn before midnight. All right, so why are we here, friends, fam? We are here because it is the end. And I'm going to do a retrospective here. And in the process of doing the retrospective, I'm going to start from just literally this past week and then move a little bit backward. So, big thing, and this is actually something I've not been public about, and one of the reasons why this is such an interesting time. I wanted to do something big because I hadn't big for the end of Kalila, because I haven't really been active in in like again marketing this final season, because I was busy producing it, right? I I've actually, it's been kind of a source. It's been kind of a source of like, oh man, I wish I could spend more time. I wish I had spent more time with engaging with people in the community. And you know what? Pandemic, life, day job, all sorts of stuff kind of obviously the actual producing and acting and all of that took up a lot of time. So this finale week was something I was I was looking super forward to be like, this is my last chance to like spend like quality time with my story, and with the people that had made it possible, and the people who listened to it, and people who helped me make it. So this is kind of why I created finale week. The other thing, and this is the big thing that it actually happened this past Friday. I was, like I said, ramping up, getting ready for Kalila finale week, and my grandmother passed away very, very suddenly, and it kind of hit me like a freight train. And part of me was very, very close to delaying the finale week. Again, obviously, you could probably tell, like, it is still a very emotional thing for me. But at the same time, I'm of the belief, because I do believe my work as a storyteller is sacred work. It's something that is a part of who I am. The fact that this happened, that this death happened, so very close to the death of something else very dear to me, it felt meaningful. And so I really wanted to fully express, as my spiritual teacher and as my therapist told me, that it's important, and grief and endings and death are a way to check in on your emotions and feel actually a full breath. It's an opportunity to feel you're like fully alive. And because so much of my life is connected with storytelling, I realized that this was part of my full expression of who I am, and a celebration of the things that I've done, of the type of person that my ancestors have made me. My grandmother, she was also a crafty person and a writer. And I think in the midst of all this, it did connect that to me, that this ending is not just an ending of just some story, but it's an ending of a stage in my life. I also just turned 30, so that also, all these things kind of came together to kind of encompass a lot of different meanings that this story has facilitated. So that's kind of where this finale is kind of bringing in. And I'll tag like spoilers. Hopefully all of y'all have listened up to the penultimate episode, but this sense of long shadow dancing, long time work, just came to the forefront too with this week. And I was able to spend this time really contemplating how I got here. And so we'll kind of pull back the clock a little bit, and look at this last year now. So in the last year, I was producing a bunch of stuff, not just Kalila, but also for my work. You might have seen in my social medias, I've been personally, I've been also working on another podcast, called Rebuilding Peace in Colombia, which is a narrative documentary podcast on social leaders in Colombia. I really, really encourage you guys to listen to that too. It's also, you do not hear my voice at all in it. It is, but what I think I feel connected to is like you might be able to hear some of my influence in it. But that, along with also creating the final season of Kalila, of writing it, of working with Gabriel Urbina, one of my inspirations for creating Kalila, as he was the creator of Wolf 359, one of the first audio dramas I've ever listened to, working with my full cast and extended cast for production. Again, high five to Krub if he's still on here, for being part of, again, like, the cast and crew, and Sarah Paczynski, who did sound design, all of us. This was a really ambitious season. Like I took y'all like leaps and bounds leaps and bounds above last season, because I'm ambitious and I have no sense of scale. But so this last season was incredibly challenging in a good way. So I think that the kind of work a final season brings out of a creator like myself is both anxiety of trying to, impress, grow, and tie things up in a neat knot, or neat bow. But one of the things I've learned, and I'm not going to spoil the ending at all, but one of the things that I've learned is that there aren't real endings. There's no, the storytelling, stories never actually end. I know Kalila is going to be something that's always going to be a part of me. It's going to hopefully outlive its ending. There's going to be hopefully more people who listen now that it's over. I mean, there were plenty of podcasts that I just like binge listened to like after it was done. But that was another thing too, is Kalila is one of the few audio dramas of this new wave of audio dramas has come to an end, that is actually ending. So I'm really grateful, again, with the help of Gabriel Urbina, as someone who also finished their like their story, that I could kind of reach out and talk to and figure out, like, what were some of the other tips and tricks of how to handle an ending. But that was something, again, I wanted to grow from. And looking back even further into this whole point of growth is the second season of Kalila was a huge point of growth for me too, because that's when I brought in a whole freaking cast. So if you've never, again, like multiple scales, like exponential scaling up, Kalila definitely scaled up in the second season. And looking back, and listening back, actually, of the difference between the first season and the second season is definitely a production that is in its sophomore year, is figuring out how to both kind of maintain the heart of the first season, but also expand and grow a story that in a world that is, at least in my head, was a lot bigger. And one of the things that was really a beautiful learning experience with me, and I still adore directing the actors that have been a part of this story. The cast that I've created, they have not only done their characters beautifully, but they also inspired the characters. And I've said this a couple of times, but like, honestly, quite a few people, and again, I keep calling you out, Kareem, since you're on here, actually inspired their characters. Their audition, like, sometimes, again, like, I hadn't finished writing or even planning out season 2 and 3 when I when I hired these actors. So often when I listen to their auditions and their approach to characters, it was as as a writer, it was as almost collaborative creation, which is a really interesting experience too. So yeah, that whole experience I think my favorite experience, and honestly, the table readings with this cast and with these characters, was one of the best experiences over the last 2 years. And I think sometimes it actually did improve my day when I just didn't want to do anything. It reminded me of how much I love storytelling. It brought me to a connected point, and so I'm so grateful with the cast and crew that I was able to work with, and characters that could kind of take a life of their own. And as some of my actors may attest and have attested, sometimes the characters take a life of their own by accidentally revealing too much about their own personal lives. But I'll let them ever talk about that at any given point. So yeah, the community also that I was involved in was also reflected in the events I was able to go to. The live show in New York City, that was a dream come true. 14-year-old Lisette, when they were in high school and in high school theater, dreamed of being on stage in New York City. And I actually was able to, and that was dreams do come true, my friends, even with with someone who is not your average ingenue. And that's something I'm really grateful for too. But looking back actually to the very end, I'll kind of end with, because there's still only 4 of us. We'll definitely hop to Google Meet so we can chat a little bit more. To look at the final season, or the first season, rolling back the clock all the way to the beginning of this. And I've said this in multiple forums of why I started this. This was this Kalila Stormfire originated as a project for my spiritual group, and as a reflection of my own story and my own encounters with myself and with my own personal growth. And as I got into this is, I want you to imagine that as someone who didn't really have any public art background. I never put anything out that was my own. I did fan fiction. I acted in theater on stage, but listening to podcasts, listening to fiction podcasts and audio drama, it was like a part of me just itched to create. And it's funny how life sometimes, if you follow that itch, you get thrown into a whole new world. It's like crossing over into the Fae realm. And that was my experience. I wrote this. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do this single narrator thing, put it on a mic, and I don't know, maybe some friends and family might listen to it. And to then be, posting on Twitter and Tumblr, to then have essentially to be kind of pulled into the audio drama community world, felt like falling through the rabbit hole. And when I say, and as I said before, that this story changed my life, that's what it felt like. This story over the last 3 years it started with a feeling of falling through the rabbit hole, and getting into a whole new world, for myself, and also my perception and growth as an artist. And how other people impacted me. And honestly, like, yeah, I had no clue how to run a production. I had no clue how to direct or work with actors. I had no clue how to do sound design. I ran with it, and I had, thankfully, a community. I had privilege with funds, like with a job and healthcare, that I could actually support myself, and eventually garner more support through Patreon. That actually it was rooted in something I believed in. I believed in my own story. Because and this is, I think it is really, really true, is that if you believe in your own story, if you believe in your own work, that is, you are creating something for yourself. Of course, you should always be responsible in how you create, how you how you capture community and like larger social issues. But there is something really, really special of making sure that you're able to pull in a real truth, a real personal truth in your work. And I was inspired by other people doing that, by other creators doing that. And I am of the hope that my wild thought of actually, getting into audio drama and just doing it, just like it, going full steam ahead, as thoughtfully as possible, but going full steam ahead, that I've also inspired people to do the same in whatever form that it takes for them. So yeah, that is, I think, how this retrospective went. However, I don't know if this is what you guys expected out of a retrospective, but I wanted to talk a little bit because I think I deserve it after 3 years, and also after a year of a pandemic and not being able to kind of rant or be in an event space. So, all right, that's what we got here. I'm going to very quickly, again, if people are amenable, there's 4 people, including, or not including myself, so there's 5 of us total. So I'll create a real quick Google Meet link. If you're unable to participate, fine. I am just, again, like I said, open and free. I do have tarot cards. I'm happy to do some tarot readings for those who want to stick around, as well as I don't know, I might pull some special guests and some special furry guests. We'll see. All right, give me a hot second. I will put it in the link in the chat, and we can just go from there. And that obviously means anybody else who may come on late, hopefully will also see in the chat that we are going to be in a Google Meet. Start an instant meeting. Hopefully it'll give me the link. There we go. Sweet. All right. So I got that link. So putting it in the link. So give me a hot minute after, I'm posting the link now, but give me a hot minute to close it off, and then you'll as you guys ping over to the other thing. As always, just be kind as we talk. That's all I expect. We can have fun, and we will run through for another half hour, if that's okay. And if anybody wants to stick around, I have nothing else to do this evening except for, upload the Kalila Stormfire. But if any of you have to leave right now, go in peace, go in health. I hope you enjoy the finale. And of course, if you can, please join us for another live stream tomorrow for the final episode. Again, that is captioned, and it will be free. If you click the link, there's a donation option if you're willing, but it is free. That you can grab a ticket. It'll be live stream via app called Cosme. I'll be sending around the link to that to that stream sometime tomorrow, hopefully. All right, I'm going to hop off. I'm going to end this stream and I'm going to hop off to meet. I hope to see some of you there. Thank you. Bye.